Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
If you're looking for work, now's the perfect time. South Australia's in the grips of a jobs bonanza.
We still see the unemployment rate falling quite sharply over the rest of this year.
Looking for almost 400 workers in SA.
3 in 5 Australians are expected to change jobs this year.
More than 10,000 jobs are on offer across SA.
Obviously, the opportunities for long-term employment have never been better in this state.
In 2021, South Australia had more young people looking for work than in any other state. In 2022, unemployment rates have reduced, but there are still so many jobs out there. People are hiring, and here at Fresh 92.7, we want to help. We've teamed up with leading businesses and the government to give you the best chance to kickstart your career. It's freshjobs.com.au.
Well, today's a very special day for a couple of reasons. Firstly, we're launching Fresh Jobs, one of our biggest initiatives and something very important to Fresh. To tell you a bit about Fresh Jobs, we created this initiative to work with the local community to help Adelaide kickstart their careers and have the best chance at securing jobs.
How are we doing this? By creating a one-stop job hub where not only you can apply for jobs, but we equip you with all the career resources you need, including resume templates and industry expertise to help you take that next big step in your career.
And to officially launch Fresh Jobs 2022, we are joined by our new Premier, Peter Malinauskas. Welcome to Fresh and thanks so much for being here.
Good morning, team. It's great to join you.
So why do you think an initiative such as Fresh Jobs is so important to the Adelaide community?
Because nothing's more important to people than the dignity of work. I mean, a job gives you the ability not just to earn an income, but get that sense of productive fulfilment that only a good day's work can provide. So any way that we see an effort being undertaken that facilitates someone getting a job or an employer giving someone a job, that's only a good thing. And I think the initiative here from Fresh is a great one.
Yeah, beautiful. So when you were working as a trolley boy at Woolworths back in the day, we did our research.
I'm impressed. I did it for quite a few years too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Do you think a resource like Fresh Jobs would have helped you take control of your career sooner?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because anytime you've got, and particularly this day and age, and I've seen the website, and it's easy to read. It just means you know what your options are a lot sooner. It facilitates choice. You know who the employers are, what they're offering. You know, when I was starting out at 15, I just went around and put my name down at all the local Maccas and Woolies and Coles and the like, and luckily I landed a job. So anything like this just makes it easier, and that's a good thing.
Can I just say, when I was a kid, I desperately wanted to be a trolley boy.
It was an awesome job.
It looked like so much fun.
And you would get told, you know, don't make it longer than 7 or 8 trolleys. By the end, I was comfortably negotiating 23, 24.
Oh, yeah.
And a rebel.
And the man.
Now, as a music station, live music and DJs are so important to us. So if the pandemic increases to a level which sees heavy restrictions return, how is the government going to support the hospitality sector?
Yeah. When you think about what happened with the pandemic, there were a few number of people that paid the biggest sacrifices of all for everybody else's safety, more or less. And hospitality and the arts community were chief amongst them. They were the big ones. They paid the big price. So my view is that if the rest of the state is going to benefit from their sacrifice, we've got to support them. And that's not just when it's going bad, it's also got to be when it's going good too. So we actually have got a program that we've announced of spending millions of dollars on live music grants so that an up-and-coming DJ or local artist can get one of $5,400 grants, which they apply for, and then they can go to a pub and say, give us a gig.
That's amazing.
Or the venue can go to the artist and say, we've got a $400 grant, here we go, let's have a gig. So we're trying to facilitate a recovery for live music and DJs in our state. But if and, you know, touch wood, hopefully
all of us,
if the situation presented itself where some crazy new variant comes along and we're back to square one, which I'm really hopeful it doesn't happen. But if it did happen, my government, under my leadership, we're not going to leave anybody behind. And the people that are paying the biggest sacrifice, they deserve the biggest support.
Yeah, fantastic. It's already doing a great job. Like, live music is starting to come back. We're seeing festivals return and stuff, which is great to see.
It's important for the artists, but it's important for everybody. I mean, going to a gig and experiencing live music, that's part, you know, it fuels the soul. It's an experience that makes us human. So, you know, I'm 41 now, so festivals that was another era for me. But I went and saw my favourite band, Midnight Oil, play a few weeks ago, and I just felt $1 million after it.
Yeah.
So that's what people need to enjoy.
Yeah, we did that as well. Tom and I went to the Lion Arts Factory a few weeks ago.
Yep.
It was the first gig, I reckon, in a couple of years.
Yes.
And it was just the best feeling. Everyone was so up and about. Everyone smiles on their faces, yeah. So, I mean, speaking of, I guess, these festivals and everything coming back, one of Labor's biggest promises was to bring back the Adelaide 500.
Yeah.
Why are you so passionate about this?
Okay, so the short answer is because it's good for jobs in the state, fresh jobs. But look, there's a lot of work that's associated with it, and there's a lot of people in South Australia that motorsport is their passion. Now, I've said publicly on more than one occasion, I'm not a petrol head. It's not necessarily my thing. I love the event though, and you don't have to be a petrol head to enjoy the Adelaide 500. There's a lot of good live music there. People getting out and about amongst it. We've moved it to December. So it's not going to be clashing with the Fringe and the festival, so it'll be distinct. But make no mistake, I can't, when I'm walking around the burbs or at a shopping centre, the amount of people that race this with me is insane.
Yeah.
There's a pent-up demand out there, and I think this race will be bigger than Ben-Hur.
They'll be coming out of the woodworks all over Adelaide.
Do you guys like motorsport? Is it your thing or not so much? Yeah.
Look at me. Of course it's not my thing.
I have to say, yeah, I went to the Adelaide 500 like every year from about 4 years old till when it stopped with my dad.
Okay,
my
yeah.
dad's a massive petrol
He loves
head,
it?
So, yeah, so I just go with him. It's
Well, hopefully we got his vote, and hopefully he's looking for it.
Definitely did.
Well, look, it was a big issue for a lot of people, but first weekend of December, so it's going to be great.
Fantastic.
So obviously becoming Premier, being the new Premier is such a big deal. How have your family reacted to the new position?
That's a good question. My kids are so young they don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Right, which is probably a good thing. They're too young to know what's going on, which is nice. Obviously, even in the job before this one, you're not home very much, so they're sort of just used to it all. But for Annabelle, my wife, she's got her own career. She's a partner at a law firm. And to say that she's very supportive is the world's biggest understatement. Like, somehow she makes make everything tick. And, obviously I love her for it. But Mum and Dad and her parents are pretty excited. It's an exciting time and I'm enjoying the privilege.
But it's also probably good. I mean, no one can ground you like your kids.
Oh, damn straight. Damn straight. Yeah. School's back this week, right? So let me tell you, on more than one occasion, so I'm not home when they go to bed, but in the morning I try and be around to help get them ready, and it was a complete shit show at our house this morning. And I did nothing more grounding than trying to get kids ready for school, let me tell you. Yeah.
Now, what is your government's priorities for youth?
There's a couple of elements, but if I was to say, if you asked me to pick one, it's education, training and skills.
Yeah.
Right? Because the nature of the labour market is you're not competing with someone next door to you anymore for a job. You're not competing with someone in a suburb over or even interstate. You're competing with people internationally for work now, particularly as we see a graduation towards so many more things going online. Now, the best chance for young people to have a good standard of living, the sort of standard of living that our parents have been able to enjoy, is through their skills and their education and training. But for once, and this is so much of what we campaigned about, I think we've got to start thinking long term. And some of the best bang for your buck that you can get around education, training and skills is what we do in preschool. So any international academic expert on this says, if you're going to spend more money on education, spend it on preschool, spend it on the early years. That's where you can make the most transformative difference. So we've got a policy to invest in that. Now, that's not necessarily going to help a 16-year-old today, but it is going to help the 16-year-old in 10 years' time. And we're unapologetic about saying time to start thinking long-term, and that's a big emphasis for us.
Honestly, that's amazing. All right.
We're in our light-hearted side now. We're in the funny questions.
Okay, right.
So we're wondering, now that you're in this position, just to get a glimpse into your life now, what's your favourite perk of the job right now that you're getting?
Do you get free Adelaide Metro?
Free movie tickets or something?
You do get invited to a few more. You always get invited to events, and you've got to go speak at functions and all that sort of stuff. That tends not to be a perk, but you do get invited to like at the footy or whatever, you get invited to boxes and all that sort of stuff. So, but to be honest, I know this will drive you crazy or your listeners nuts. It's nice to go to a box, but then you have to spend most of the time talking
mingling,
shop, and that sort of thing. And when I go to the footy, I just want to have a couple of beers, talk rubbish, and just focus on the footy. So it's a perk you feel lucky to enjoy sometimes, but most of the time you just want to do the normal things, if that sort of makes sense.
Yeah. Now, speaking perks, since getting the role, have you gotten any wind of any big secrets?
Well, they wouldn't be much of a secret if I told you now, would they? I'll tell you what I want to find out that I reckon is a bit of a secret going out. That I'm serious about this. Everyone talks about the tunnels underneath the city.
We talked about that before. We literally
that.
did
Right.
that. Because Tom and I did a segment ages ago where we asked about the tunnels, and then someone sent in a text being like, yes, there are like catacomb tunnels underneath the train station.
All right, I tell you, I'm gonna try and find this out, right? I figure if I'm the Premier, if nothing else, I've got to find out if these bloody tunnels exist or not, because everyone talks about them, but no one definitively knows. Like, no one's met anyone who's been in one.
No.
Right? So I'm going to get onto this.
Hang on, I'm sus on you. I reckon that you do know about these tunnels and you have been down there, Peter.
That's where you go down and watch the footy and mingle in peace.
That's right.
All right, well, Premier Malinauskas, thanks so much for joining us this morning to launch Fresh Jobs. To kickstart your career, head to freshjobs.com.au. Now, get out there, kiss some hands, shake some babies.
Yeah, we'll do that. Thanks, guys. Cheers. Thanks, guys.
Don't go anywhere, because Jake's coming up next live from Kim Jones Careers and Employment Expo at the Showgrounds.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to AuscastNetwork.com for details.